Trump declares the ceasefire over Iran. Strikes US bases in Bahrain and Kuwait. Two headlines, one broken promise, and a region holding its breath again. Let's go back to where this started. On June 17th, in the Palace of Versailles, Donald Trump signed a memorandum meant to end a war that had already cost the world too much. That same day, in Tehran, President Masoud Pezeshkian signed his half of the same document. For a few weeks, it held ships, moved markets, calmed people, allowed themselves to hope. Then came July 7th. The US military said Iran struck 3 commercial vessels moving through the Strait of Hormuz, one of the most important shipping lanes on earth. CENTCOM answered with force, hitting more than 80 targets along Iran's coast in a single night. Air defense systems, radar stations, missile sites, the kind of strike that doesn't ask permission from a ceasefire. Iran called it a betrayal, the US called it a response. Both sides were technically telling the truth, and that's the tragedy of it. In a fight like this, everyone is defending themselves, and nobody is defending the peace. By July 8th, Trump stood in front of cameras at the NATO summit and said the words that changed everything. The ceasefire is over, not paused, not under review, over. Within hours, the US launched a second wave, roughly 90 targets this time, hitting logistic sites and missile storage along Iran's southern coast. A firefighter in Iran, Shah, lost his life trying to put out what the strikes left behind. He is not a statistic in this story. He is the cost nobody puts on the news graphic. Iran didn't wait long to answer. The Revolutionary Guards, Navy, and Air Force launched a coordinated drone and missile attack on American infrastructure, hitting Camp Arifjan and Salem Air Base in Kuwait, then Sheikh Isa Air Base in Juffair in Bahrain, home to the US Navy's 5th Fleet. Sirens sounded across the Gulf that night. Families in Manama and Kuwait City woke up to a war they didn't start and can't stop. Here's what almost nobody is saying out loud. Less than 20 days after that, memorandum was signed in Versailles. The US Treasury quietly revoked the sanctions waiver that let Iran sell oil under the New Deal. Before a single missile flew on July 7th, the paperwork behind the peace was already being unwound. Ask yourself, who broke the ceasefire first? The men firing weapons, or the men signing documents in Washington? Iran's parliament speaker, Mohammed Bagher Ghalibaf, posted a warning that spread across the region. If you strike, you will be struck. Iran now says the Strait of Hormuz reopens only on its own terms, not American demands. That single sentence threatens the flow of oil the entire world depends on. There were also unverified claims. Iranian officials said US strikes hit near the perimeter of the Bushehr nuclear plant. Iran's own Supreme National Security Council said the plant itself was untouched. In wars like this, even the two sides inside the same government don't always agree on what happened. That's why we check both every time before we tell you anything. None of this happened in a vacuum. This war has been running since late February, when US and Israeli airstrikes killed Iran's supreme leader and several top officials, an act that dragged the entire region into open conflict within days. Since then, the world has watched the largest disruption to global oil markets in a generation, with Brent crude swinging on every headline out of the Gulf. Every time a base burns or a tanker gets hit, the price at the pump moves for people who have never heard of the Strait of Hormuz and never asked for any of this. So where does that leave us? A ceasefire signed with real hope in Versailles. The Strait of Hormuz closed by decree. Instead of diplomacy, American sailors and Iranian firefighters paying the price for decisions made far above their pay grade. And the sanctions waiver pulled back before the ink on the peace deal had even dried. This isn't a story about villains and heroes. It's a story about a peace that was never given the chance to survive its own paperwork. Trump declared the ceasefire over on television. Iran answered in Bahrain and Kuwait within hours, and the rest of us are left reading headlines, waiting to see if anyone in either capital still wants the peace they signed for in June.